Happy Friday. I'm Krista, and I'm here to share with you a mind-blowing fact about how purposely and precisely God designed creation. And to do that, we're going to talk about our home planet, Earth. Now, you may have heard people talk about how there are a number of factors that make life able to thrive on Earth. Things like, the fact that it's at a specific place in our galaxy, the fact that gravity is just the right amount so we're not crushed and we're not floating off into space, or even just the axis of our Earth is set perfectly. And that's all true. A lot of these factors, if they were just slightly different, we wouldn't be able to survive here. And one you've probably heard many times is actually the distance the Earth is from the sun, right? You've probably heard that if we're much closer, the Earth would just be too hot and we wouldn't be able to survive. Much further away and it would be too cold, we would all freeze, and there would be no life on Earth. And that's true. In fact, scientists have dubbed this particular area that we can survive in the habitable zone or the Goldilocks zone. You can probably guess why. But I want to know just how big that zone is and how much closer we could be to the sun before all of our water evaporates and we're not able to survive. So to start that, let's start by understanding just how big these things are, because I could give you a number, but at some point those numbers don't mean anything. So first, let's talk about Earth and let's talk about how big it actually is. Give me that. Thank you, Christian. So I think we're all pretty familiar with Earth. We live on it, and we all know that it is pretty dang big. It is 24,902 miles around, to be exact. And if you were to hop in a plane and you didn't have to stop for gas or fuel or anything like that, it would take you roughly 40 hours to make it all the way around the Earth. So it's pretty big. I think we can all appreciate that, right? But let's compare it to the size of our sun. Christian's gonna come over and he's got our sun. So the sun is obviously a lot bigger than the Earth. We know that. But how much bigger? So the sun is 7.2 million miles around. Compare that to the 24,000 that the Earth is. 7.2 million miles around. That's 109 times larger than the Earth. And you could actually fit 1.3 million Earths inside of this sun. Not this sun, but you get what I mean. So if it takes 40 hours to fly around this, how long do you think it takes to fly around the sun, right? The answer is it would take 4,360 hours to fly around the sun. That's a lot of hours. That's actually 181 days, roughly half a year, to fly around the sun without stopping in a jet. So it's huge by comparison, right? Now, I know it doesn't look that big compared to this because this is not to scale, you're probably saying now. And you're right. In fact, if this was the actual size of the sun, our Earth would actually be the size of this bead. Just that big. We're pretty small compared to the sun, right? This sun is about 75 inches in circumference. This bead is only 0.7 inches in circumference. We are much, much, much smaller, right? So now that we have an idea of how big the sun actually is, how big the Earth actually is, let's take a look at how far apart they'd have to be. Just think about it for a second. In your mind, how far apart do you think these two need to be if these were the actual sizes? Well, the answer really is 92,995,807 miles, roughly. The Earth goes around in an ellipsis, so it's not exactly a circle, but that's roughly what it is. And in fact, it takes the sun, or the light from the sun, 8 minutes to reach the Earth. So, Christian, I put a little tape on the ground over there. Christian's gonna go run and show us exactly how far, in this scenario, the sun is from the Earth. Good luck, Christian. There he goes. He is still going. Go, Christian, go! There you go. He is all the way over there. That's 2,545 inches, or 212 feet, or 71 yards away from this tiny bead is how far the sun would have to be away for this to really be an example of how far we are away from the sun. If we're actually this far apart, we're finally answering our question, how much closer could we actually be? So the distance from the Earth to the sun is called 1 astronomical unit. And scientists theorize that the Goldilocks zone starts at 0.99 astronomical units. Therefore, in our demonstration, the Earth could be this much closer to the sun without us burning up. Ready? Follow me. That's it. We're 71 yards away, where the sun, or the Earth actually is away from the sun, and we can only move 2 feet closer to the sun in this demonstration before all the water on our Earth would dry up and we would be dead. So that is crazy. I don't know if you guys feel tiny, but I do. I feel tiny, and frankly, I feel pretty fragile. I'm not even a speck of dust on this bead. Really, in reality. But the point of all this is not to make you feel fragile. It's not to make you feel small. The point of this is that God created the earth and the sun and their massive bodies in just precisely the right way with a purpose. And that same God created you precisely and with a purpose. Happy Friday, guys. See you next time.